Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. We have been bringing you KOL interviews every week. Every Wednesday or Thursday, you get a live interview with us, bringing you the newest information in the crypto market, bringing you new projects, bringing you innovation, and we are trying to make sure you know exactly what's going on at all times. Today, I have the honor, I have an amazing guest from Gaia, Shashank. He is currently the CEO and the co-founder, and we're going to be having a conversation with him, talking with him and finding out exactly what his project is doing. Because the way I read it, you are building on a decentralized ecosystem that supports AI applications that learn, improve, and grow over time. My first reaction when I read that sentence is like, okay, that's scary. They're growing over time, meaning they're going to keep getting more and more intelligent to the point where we become irrelevant. So I said, I need to get you on my show, sit you down, and tell us, where are you going? What is the quintessential service that you're trying to provide?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks so much for having me, by the way, guys. Yeah, I think what Gaia really we're an open source DevOps infrastructure framework. We 3 lines of code. We help you set up your own AI agent nodes. We like the Stripe for setting up AI agents. We make it super simple, quick, and easy to set up the entire box, as you can call it, the agent. Essentially, the secret sauce we have is the Wasm Edge runtime, which we co-maintain with the Linux Foundation. You can plug in any open source LLM you want. We're not an LLM company ourselves. You go choose that from Hugging Face. We support thousands of models. You can do DeepSeek. You can do Llama, which is our favorite. And because of the virtual runtime, it can work off of. It's very lightweight. It can work off of your 8 GB CPU all the way to NVIDIA or AWS or your own phone. But really, what we're trying to do is help people with proprietary knowledge. Whether that's enterprises, governments, institutions, individuals. We're helping proprietary knowledge data holders participate in the generative learning race. And the thesis here is just that these knowledge holders don't want another monopolist like Google or OpenAI sitting between them and their data. They want to have a direct relationship with their end consumer, and we help them. Our thesis to getting these proprietary knowledge holders on generative learning is you need open source, which our framework is, and you need Web3. We saw an opportunity where we think even Silicon Valley and the Web2 world is hit up against a wall because you can't share and monetize data sets without another monopolist sitting between you and your data customers. So we are an inference network on the Web3 side. We allow you to attribute, validate, and monetize the inference of your agents on chain. So yeah, we make it super simple, quick, and easy to share and monetize on chain. So
Whenever you start using words like super simple, quick, does it go also hand in hand with secure? Does it go hand in hand with functionality? And not everybody likes super simple and quick. Some people require a more in-depth, a more structured, a more professional type of approach. Do you cater to all groups?
Yeah, 100%. So our clients include the likes of NASA and Fitch Ratings and pilots we've done with large enterprises, and on the other hand, includes just everyday individuals, some who aren't even non-developers. There's a bunch of TikTok creators who are building their own agents, and that's the thing key here is we see ourselves as kind of the core infrastructure by making it simple to create, deploy, and share your agents. We're essentially, allowing others to be their own AI company or their own AI individual. I think what Silicon Valley and kind of the traditional media has built up AI to be in the OpenAI world is something that's $1 billion race, multiple tens of $1 billion race that no one can enter unless you are a privileged individual. We think that's not the case. It's meant to be simple. We see an agent deploying an agent as the same as creating a website. Yes, there's some technical expertise needed, but at the core end of the day, we think that race will get cheaper and easier, and we need it to be cheaper and easier so that we can proliferate the entire world onto the world of agents. And I think that the race of LLMs, we believe, is actually kind of a race to the bottom. It's a zero sum game. There'll always be cheaper and easier LLMs. The launch of DeepSeek proved that. That apparently they trained on $6 million. That may be false, but I think we think LLMs will get cheaper, and they are getting cheaper to create. The application of LLMs to a use case, to actually build a business, to actually interact with customers and interact with followers, that is what agents are going to be needed for. So it's
Now,
for
if,
everyone.
for example, OpenAI, $40
Hmm.
billion raise, 200
Hmm.
billion valuation. Does this help with the adoption? Is this
Yeah.
pushing us in the right direction, or do you say no? Let's go the deep seek route. That among a few people, 6 million, 7 million, boom, they're online.
Mm.
Which benefits the general crowd more?
I think look, I think we're definitely a little bit in debt for OpenAI to kick off the generative learning race. I'm not gonna, talk ill of them in that aspect.
We have to be honest.
However, they did choose a closed source model route. It was meant to be open source. They chose to hoard all their data. And at the end of the day, we see that as not necessarily going to encourage the future of AI. It's the future of the way we look at OpenAI is it's kind of the Yahoo.com or the Lycos of 1999. It's everything everywhere all at once for everyone. So they do sport, they used to do sports or news, finance, everything you need, and it's your first intro to the internet, right?
Yeah.
However, you need the rest of the internet to form, right? So we see ourselves as more of the coordinator, the Google, maybe. We're just simple. We do one purpose. We allow you to deploy and create your own LLM, your own agents, which are the manifestations. So I think whether it's DeepSeek or there's others coming out, I'm eternally grateful to Mark Zuckerberg and the Llama team because they open source all that data, and we actually prefer Llama for our own agents. So, but yeah, I think open source is key, so that others can develop on it, and there's many, many, many ways for people to monetize without hoarding people's data. So,
Talk to me about your network. On your website,
mm,
doing some research, instantly
mhm,
connect to a specialized network of inference nodes.
mhm.
Simplify that for me. What does that mean, step by step?
Sure. So yeah, we are an inference network. You can think of it like basically we are made up of domains and nodes. Uh, for example, University of Berkeley in California, it was one of our first pilots. They're running their own domain. You can actually access it at berkeley.gaianet.ai. You need a Berkeley address. So there's Web2 UX involved. You just use your Chrome browser. But essentially, that is a supernode, and that domain, the Berkeley domain, acts as a TCP/IP router, essentially, to route any request to the combination of nodes underneath it. There's different types of nodes. There's compute nodes. There's data nodes. There's actual processing nodes. So if you have a chemistry question, it gets routed through the Berkeley domain to the chemistry professor's agent node, which is the knowledge. Any additional compute is bolstered internal or external to that domain. It's all coordinated on our network, and in that way, we match ML compute with ML models fairly effectively, and people can stake their tokens to maintain, validate, and earn staking rewards via our eigenlayer ABS. And there's a slashing mechanism as well, but essentially you're validating that Berkeley is who it says it is. You're
Okay.
maintaining and validating those transactions. So it's a thriving ecosystem to basically uh, be able to assess the best nodes for your purpose, and also at go and attract compute in addition if you don't have enough. So I think that's the basis of our ecosystem. We coordinate that inference. We create an economy of inference. that is validated, that is maintained, and then shared effectively. So
Very good, very good. Now, talk to me about the Gaia reward program. Is
yeah.
this your attempt at bringing more people in, making sure people understand the importance of, hey, being part of this ecosystem? How does it work?
Yeah, Gaia reward program is, essentially when you stake your tokens, you maintain and validate exactly. You participate in the ecosystem. Offer your data nodes up. If you, we want you to create an agent and put your proprietary knowledge on there. Where our goal, we're addressing kind of a supply and demand problem of the future of our network is going to be dependent on the amount of data and the amount of compute we attract to the ecosystem. So far, we've been able to fill that in pretty abundantly for the initial phases of the network. And I think once we launch our, our DAO and our governance, those are actually going to dictate the supply and demand metric, a central bank, so to speak, to encourage different parts of the ecosystem when needed. But honestly, we're at 300,000 nodes globally to date. We have major pilot partners on both Web 2 and Web 3 enterprise, as I mentioned. We're integrated with, and we've been invested in by some of the largest Web 3 infrastructure, like MoonPay, and we have Consensus on our cap table. We have quite a few other DePIN providers. We are providing actual customers to a lot of them, even with our eigenlayer. I think we've been able to attract a lot of developers and a lot of nodes to the eigenlayer ABS, and I think the future of Web 3. I think the next phase of Web 3 mass adoption is agent dApps, and by being a core infrastructure there, we're actually providing customers to a lot of our partners and suppliers.
Now, that's a perfect segue. Talking about the future, you have a great product now. Look ahead, five,
Hmm.
let's say 5, 10 years from now. Where do you see yourself positioned in the actual market?
Yeah, I it's all things change very quickly, so I might put my foot in my mouth here, but I think that we're at a powerful kind of pivot in the future development of technology. I think, as you saw with like kind of the the inherent limitations of OpenAI becoming apparent, we think Web 3 and decentralized inference is going to be a key component of the proliferation of agents. We think agents are going to replace apps. They're going to replace websites and a lot of businesses. And so, looking out forward, I foresee a world where, for example, I could uh, have an agent. Actually, right now, I have the technology to train an agent that goes and reads a finance textbook, that goes and reads a bunch of finance textbooks, reads Warren Buffett's book, follows him on Twitter, follows all the best crypto influencers on Twitter, including you guys, maybe. And honestly, it could create sub agents that maybe one follows equities, one follows crypto, one follows commodities, and then I say, hey, go trade on a semi-conservative portfolio, and it doesn't. Right now, the problem why I can't execute that is the rails are still being built right now. We need these agents need KYC, AML, banking, wallets, illegal protection. So those are being developed with our partners. Like MoonPay's partnership with us is off-ramp, on-ramp of agents. Um, we're working with many wallet providers, for example, on that front as well. But I think the future then becomes how do we look at agents, AI, even from the scope of ChatGPT, which is helping you cheat on your homework, to something that you actually build a business with. And in that light, I think one of our JVs, we're actually trying to build a Squarespace Shopify for creating non-devs to create agents, right? So I think 5, 10 years down, proliferation of agents becomes the go-to kind of app or website point of interaction for many businesses. And maybe even looking out further, I will maybe posit a philosophical shift for society. I think for the last 20, 30 years, whether it's websites or apps, tech has kind of built up massive, kind of centralized like monopolies, so to speak, of innovation. They're justly earned with Google. Facebook or whoever else. But the way our relationship with tech has always been they agglomerate and we consume, right? And we've always given up our data, and that's what they use, our data. I think by decentralizing, by having agents that coordinate with each other and pay each other for each other's data and knowledge, and people, I think you are maybe able to decentralize to a point where you may not have such large tech giants that hit $100 billion plus market caps. You may have smaller SMEs. There's a for the agent I just described where you create your own trading bot that maybe you can just serve that to just your own local community, right? It's maybe you'll proliferate into your own city or your own community, and that you'll have a thriving multi-million dollar EBITDA business off of it. You may not have Goldman Sachs, you may not have a $10 trillion company, but you will have a thriving SME that benefits yourself and your community because they trust you, they know you, they are your local, and it serves the purpose, which is growing my assets. So, just philosophical food for thought.
And if you're not greedy, you will live well.
Yeah, exactly.
In short. Now, where do you fall? Are you from the side of, hey, we should commercialize it, or it should remain open source to the point where now, if you want ChatGPT 4.5, you're paying $200 per month?
Yeah. I think it's way too expensive. We're very open source to the core. We are a Red Hat Linux model. The core framework, and it will always remain open source. And this network itself will be, in a foundation with those same ethos. Our plan for our actual company is serving premium software services on top. Right? We have, like I said, the JVs with the likes of MoonPay and others that we're working on. There's other ways to monetize providing those, like I said, KYC, AML, wallets, banking. Once you bring people to the ecosystem, there's ways to fairly service them, and we're not going to monopolize that. You can create a competitor to our KYC, software, right? We will fairly compete because we believe that open source is the key to developing this ecosystem. So pretty stern on that.
Wonderful. And I love that. If you think about it, as long as everybody remains open source, it's good for everybody. And everybody remains in a fair playing field. The minute you start charging $200 per person, it makes it
this is why we know OpenAI can't actually win like that, because it just doesn't make sense, honestly. For example, many people use ChatGPT to actually cheat on their homework, but honestly, using it to like ask a basic question like what's the best bars in my city or something it's like using a jet engine to go around the block on a scooter. It's way too much overkill. It's not sustainable from an environmental standpoint. You're running massive GPUs just to go cloud process a simple question. The whole point of our thing is create much more targeted knowledge agents, and then you go to the local agent guy, and you find your local agent to just ask that simple question: what's the best bars? Much more lighter weight. You can literally run it off your computer. You don't need to, or your phone even. You don't need to go to a massive NVIDIA centralized GPU somewhere.
Wonderful. Shashank, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your knowledge and your input. It was an amazing conversation. And I'm looking forward. This is the type of conversation that we can have 6 months from now, and it will be completely different because of the amount of changes in the actual AI space. So I will definitely see you again in a few months so we can continue this conversation and keep building up with new information. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, I'm excited to come back.
That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. To all of you watching, thank you very much for giving us your time as well. This was another actual KOL interview, talking with a key opinion leader, in this case, someone which is an authority in the AI market right now, telling us where we're going. As we keep moving forward, we will keep bringing information, and we would like to thank you for your time. And we'll be back next week. Thank you, Shashank.
Thank you.
Oh, before I forget, like this video, make sure you share this video, and send it to your friends. That is the way we will keep growing. See you guys later.